Twilight the Terrible by Arcade Striker JK5. Chapter 7. Pinkie Pie trotted down the street, barely paying attention to anything else, except when she slowed down to cheer up some foals, or when she stopped to keep a fire stoked, or when she stopped and gave out all the candy and food stuck in her mane. Other than that door, she kept on course where she could go corner. Her gait slowed as she approached her home. Her hair flattened slightly at the dilapidated condition. Like all buildings, Sugar Cube Corner had seen better days. There were several hastily patched holes in the roof, and the second-floor balcony wobbled in the breeze. The windows were dirty and shuttered, but a dim light could be seen through the blinds and film. Pinkie carried back and forth in front of the door, her nerves failing her. More than one passer-by stared at her antics, but she paid them no mind. She could tell the barest physical glance that the door was unlocked, and smells wafted out, tickling her nose. Without even thinking, she pushed the door open and walked in. The interior was a bit dim, but in relatively good repair. The shelves were bare for the most part, but were mounted on the walls straight and strong. Pinkie continued inward, nose in the air and sniffing. One ear flopped down before saloon-style doors in the back swung open. Cupcake backed out. A tray of plain muffins balanced on her head and another on her back. A pair of poles, pumpkin and pound cake, ying! Floated around her legs. Managing to barely keep out of her way as she left the kitchen and entered the stove itself. Like almost everyone else, she and the foals wore layers of clothing. But even those could not hide her being a bit thinner than the one Pinkie knew and loved like a mother. She spun around, gasping at the sight of Pinkie. The tray on her head bounced, and the muffins hopping on steel before settling back in their place. "Oh, my!" she said, eyes wide. "Hello there!" She leaned forward and squinted. "Wait, who are you?" Pinkie's hair flattened slightly into lack of recognition and kicked the floor slightly, taking care not to scum it. "My name's Pinkie Pie. I'm just from out of town." Cupcake sucked in a deep breath of shock. "Wait, out of town? You're with the group that just survived, right? The ones from another Equestria?" At Pinkie's small nod, she continued forward, passing by the car. "Nightmare Moon. Will she be able to help us?" Pinkie tilted her head back and forth. "It's a work in progress, but she's a lot better than when we first met her." She suddenly dropped down as Pumpkin and Pound toddled over. "Oh, oh!" she cried out, reaching out with her forelegs into folds. "Hi there! You have no idea how good it is to see you two!" Her joy was squashed as Cupcake prodded them back behind her. "Hey, what's wrong?" she asked, darting to and fro, even as Cupcake blocked her. She went up to the older mare. "Wait, you don't think you're going to hurt them, do you?" Calm down, Cupcake said as he carried back and forth, finally slowing down along with Pinkie. "Please, I don't know what it's like where you came from. I like to think what it was before, but well, we didn't have to fear from most strangers, but nowadays you can't be too careful from those coming down the road." Pinkie rolled her pole, trying not to wince. "Yeah, we got that present outside." Pumpkin and Pound both scampered around with Cupcake's forelegs, each opposite one another. They crowded around Pinkie's forelegs, grabbing onto them and cooing. Cupcake swallowed. "Oh my, come on, dearest!" She went up to Pinkie. "I'm very sorry about this. They're normally not so clinking around others." Her brow furrowed. "They actually do seem rather taken with you." "She's Pinkie Pie. A well-written one does that." Pinkie knelt down to the twins' height. "It's okay. I'm good with false, especially these two." She nuzzled Pound, wrapped his stubby little arms around her muzzle. She raised her head, and he hung on, tiny little legs kicking in the air. Pumpkin floated around her head, circling and cooing. "Ah! There we go! Heart! Dying! God! Ugh!" "Oh, not again. What are you trying to do, Arcade? Don't you see what making him forcing him to see cute things does to him? You're killing him!" I swear, all you writers like to kill him with adorableness." Cupcake's mouth quirked up at the sight. "It looks like the twins trust you. Does the cake family get you Equestria too?" Pinkie lowered her head, gently placing Pound on the floor, before shooting back up and bobbing her head down. "Yep! You and Mr. Cake are like second parents to me." Her head suddenly stopped. "But not here. Maybe I never left the rock farm." Cupcake slowly reached out and patted her on the shoulder. "Cat and I never met you, Pinkie. Not now." She bit her lip. "But right now, I wish we did. Pinkie placed a hoof over Cupcake's. Thank you. Her eyes are about. Say, where is Carrot Cake anyway? She asked, voice hissing slightly with nervousness and anticipation. He's out with the logging crews, Cupcake responded, sighing. She cantered to the front window, staring out. He leaves before the twins are awake, then usually gets home after their sleep. Then he does what he can in the kitchen before nodding off. He's missing their childhood, and I miss him. She knelt down and nuzzled the twins, eyes closed and expression downcast. Pinkie's gaze went to the kitchen. Back where I come from, you two had your pulls full running this place, and that was before the twins were born. She looked at the twins, then to Cupcake. Okay, I know you don't have much of a reason to trust me. If I was you, I wouldn't trust me either. If I was me, half the time I wouldn't trust me. But right now, you need help. And I'm not offering both forelegs to you. She held out her forelegs and wagged them. Cupcake swallowed. She looked at Pinkie's forelegs, then down to the twins, then to the kitchen. I want to, Pinkie. I want to be able to trust again. It's just been a while since I could. Since the stranger outside of Ponyville was a blessing instead of an extra mouth. Or worse. Pinkie sighed. I understand, Mrs. Kink. Well, I don't, but I do. I kinda do. She turned and walked towards the door, mail and tag hanging down to the floor. I'm sorry for taking up your time, Mrs. Kink. Cupcake's eyes tracked Pinkie. She bit her lip, facing for her foreleg. Wait! She cried out. I'm sorry, Pinkie. I do need the help. Here. I have to remember the good, not just the bad. Pinkie spun around, trying to get the Cupcake even as her mane tail sprung up. I won't let you down! She hopped up and tossed Mrs. Cake a salute. We'll have everything to go in no time! Pumpkin and Pound suddenly raised their stubby forelegs and waved them about, gurgling and spinning up a bit. Pinkie and Cupcake both lowered their heads to them, nuzzling the twins. Cupcake gently slipped them up onto her back. Okay, you two. Let's get back to the kitchen along with our new helper. She glanced at Pinkie. Thank you. Pinkie smiled, not one of mirth, but of relief. No. Thank you. Neighbor Moon sat on her haunches in Mayor Mare's office. The chair is too small to accommodate her large frame. Twilight and Luna were to her left. The mayor herself darted from various filing cabinets to the desk, each time a manila folder to add to an ever-increasing pile already filed haphazardly on the desk. Now, here are the reports on crop returns. This one on the culling of whitetail wood. Here's a report on boulder activities. She suddenly stopped and looked up at Nightmare Moon, who was staring up at the wall behind her. Your Highness, are you all right? Luna stood up and walked over. She folded a folder off the top of the pile and flipped through its contents. Expertly done, Mayor Mare. I commend on whoever compiled this data. She sent it over to Nightmare Moon. Wouldn't you agree? Nightmare Moon's head suddenly shot up and darted about, eyes blinking rapidly. What? Yes, of course. She read the folder from Luna's telekinetic grip, sending pages scattering across the room. Her cheeks turned bright red as the papers flew about in the air. She bared her teeth as she snagged each one, bringing them back to her. She glanced at them, putting them back into the proper order before placing them into the open folder and looking at the first page. Her eyes narrowed and floated the folder over, stopping only an inch or two from her muzzle. I just realized that this is probably the most Tabitha St. Germain roles I've ever done in a fic. Ever. Silence descended upon the office as Nightmare Moon continued to read, flipping through page to page. Finally, she set the folder down on the desk and launched a parenting stare on Nightmare Moon. Thank you, Mayor. That was a most informative report on crop production. So what is being done to increase yields and better to distribute them? Mayor's mouth opened. She slid the folder closer to her and picked out a single sheet of paper closer. But, Your Majesty, everything that can be done is being done. There's nothing more we can do without increased solar output and the temperatures rising. It's right here! She leaned forward. Did you miss that? Nightmare Moon shook her head and waved Mayor Mare off. What? Of course I didn't. I saw it on the front page. It's simply that as mayor, you're the leader of the community and must direct those under you to accomplish the tasks set before them. Luna spoke up. Maya is doing the best she can under these extremely trying circumstances, Nightmare Moon. All the ponies here are. There's simply nothing more they can do. No amount of ordering or shouting can change those cold, hard facts. Nightmare Moon locked eyes with her counterpart. What are you implying? Luna stared right back, not flinching or moving. I am not implying anything. I am stating facts that Maya had already said. You understand that, yes? The temperature in the room seemed to drop even more than it already was. Before Nightmare Moon could open her mouth, Luna continued. I think you and I need to have a full conversation, Nightmare Moon. And I think if we do it while conscious, half the town will be leveled before we're done. Therefore, I propose we talk things out in a more neutral setting. Nightmare blinked. Excuse me, while conscious? Nightmare Moon paid her no need as he nodded. Very well, Luna, I see your wisdom in that, at least. She looked to Mare, then to Twilight. I shall see you in a minute or two after I'm proven right. And with that, she turned and directly faced Luna. Eyes rolled almost into the back of her head, eyelids closing until only a sliver of faintly glowing white could be seen. Luna mirrored Nightmare Moon's actions, but before she closed her eyes, she looked at Twilight. This won't take long here, she said, before turning her head to face Nightmare Moon. Within seconds, her own eyes closed. Mare stared at the two alicorns. She trotted around her desk up to Nightmare Moon, stood up on her hind legs to wave a hoof in front of her muzzle. She swung around and faced Luna, before repeating the hoof waving. She dropped back to all fours before looking to Twilight. What's going on between them? She suddenly stopped. Oh, I'm terribly sorry, but I never did catch your name. Twilight straightened up. Oh, that's right, Mayor. I don't think it ever came out of conversation. My name is... She paused and leaned back, eyes widening. My name is Dewdrop Dazzle! She suddenly blurted out, sweat forming on her brow despite the cold. Her hood tugged down over her forehead and eyes, casting the rest of her face into shadow. No, Twilight, you should have used Wind Whistler. I'm pretty positive there's no pony around there with that name. Mare arched an eyebrow, pulling her off. And no skin off of my muzzle. She waved to the two alicorns. So I was about to ask, what are they doing? Twilight slid off her chair and cantered along until she stood between the pair. My guess is that they're dreaming. Princess Luna can enter into the dreams of ponies in my Equestria, so I bet they're both dreaming right now, talking to each other through them. Mare nodded. I shall take your word for it. How long would this take? Is this safe for them? Twilight shrugged. I don't have a question for either of those questions, Mayor. The only thing we could do right now is wait and hope for the best. Nightmare Moon flew through the nothingness of dreams. An inky blue void with scattered white dots and fog flowing through it. The fog thickened, turning into a mist into a faint bank. Nightmare Moon's eyes glowed and the tip of a horn sparked, but the fog remained around, cutting off the range of her vision to a few feet. She snarled and stopped her hose, spittle flying from her mouth. Luna! Where in Tartarus are you? Two large moons suddenly appeared in the sky, shrinking and changing into eyes. They blinked, and Luna's face appeared around them. Why is that strangely cute? Followed by her body. She walked forward, the fog parting in her wake. Oh, excellent! You're here. Nightmare Moon stared at her. A bit dramatic, even for us. She looked about the fog, eyes narrowing. What does this represent? Whose dream are we in? Luna's right ear waggled back and forth, tilted her head up. Can you not hear them, Nightmare Moon? I can't, and you are me after all. It's not loud, but it's there. Nightmare Moon looked around, ears flapping. Hear who? She lurched forward, coming within inches of Luna. Who else is here, Luna? Speak up! Luna's horn lit up, and the faint murmurs of the voices were now audible. Can you hear them now, Nightmare Moon? These are the thoughts of Equestrian citizens. Did the pony subjects sleepy? Nightmare Moon smirked. My future subjects. Luna shook her head. Your future victims. Hold it. Stop. This victus got supremely awesome. Babylon 5 reference. Thank you. The fog suddenly disappeared, leaving the pair standing in a field covered with snow. Gravestones, little more than stone slabs and inscriptions, poked out at haphazard intervals as far as the eye could see. The voices increased in number and volume, now comprehensible to Luna and Nightmare Moon. Cold. So cold. So cold. Why did Mommy and Daddy have to go away? When will it be warm again? Nightmare Moon flapped her wings and stumbled back, kicking down some of the tombstones. For every one she destroyed, though, 2 more sprouted. Her head darted back and forth. What is this? She cried out. She planted her hose on the floor and glared at Luna. What trickery is this? Luna matched Nightmare Moon's glare and walked forward. This is no trickery, Nightmare Moon. This is their future, either under the Tyrant Filly's reign, or if you observe her as you are now. I know from personal experience how difficult. Nightmare Moon fired a beam of magic from her horn, enveloping Luna, vaporizing her. You will cease this prattling! I want the love and adoration, not the demise! Luna suddenly reformed next to Nightmare Moon. She let out a sigh as Nightmare Moon cantered her right and shot. I was also saying before being interrupted. I know how difficult it is to accept this, but it's true. This is Equestria's fate of eternal night. She waved a foreleg at the graves. Are you really so surprised? Even I had some inkling before learning the full truth. Nightmare Moon rounded around to face Luna once more. No! I have no intention of doing this. I will ensure all my subjects are well cared for. They will love me for what I do for them. This is some fantasy, concocted by someone who has no idea of our true powers. She chuckled and shook her head. Perhaps the elements removed more than you think they did, my dear counterpart. She craned her head up and around. Tell me, is it my imagination, or is it your horn a little shorter than before? Luna turned and looked at the graves. Snow had begun to fall. They removed my blindness to plain facts of the truth. This world barely exists with the sun on the horizon. Do you really think it could last without it? She looked to the sky as another moon rose in the sky, a pale green orb. Our magic is great, but it cannot substitute for the sun. The wind kicked up. Nightmare Moon flinched slightly as Luna stood, not even her mane or tail ruffling. The cold, the dark, all closing in on them, on you. The plants would die, depriving the animals of the base of the food chain even worse than it is now. They would die, and then the ponies themselves would pass. Nightmare Moon suddenly turned and lunged at Luna, but Luna's body wavered, turning translucent and allowing her counterpart to pass through her. Luna even turned as Nightmare Moon skidded and stumbled in the snow, solidified once more. And on a throne of ice would sit a beautiful, terrible princess, her heart almost as cold as the frozen wasteland she ruled. The land would be covered in snow, the only sounds the wind as it howls, sounding more and more like the cries of the dead. All that the ponies built would fall into decay and ruin, swallowed up by the drifting mounds of snow and ice. That will be the result of eternal night, Nightmare Moon. That will be your legacy, if the word legacy can be applied. Nightmare Moon stood and turned, lunging at Luna once more. She passed through Luna again, this time striking the snow and falling through the snow. She fell through space, flapping her wings but unable to gain control of her fall. She suddenly landed on a stone floor, the breath driven from her body. A few minutes passed before Nightmare Moon stirred and raised her head. She saw a snow globe on the floor in front of her. Curiosity overtook her and floated over to her. Even in Nightmare Moon's telekinetic grip, it felt heavy and wobbled around. Inside was a miniature version of Canterlot. The wire surrounding it was frozen solid. The flakes suspended in mid-float. Her eyes lost their focus and the globe dropped to the floor, shattering and sending shards of glass spraying out. Luna emerged from the shadows. And that is Equestria's fate, as well as your own if you continue down this path. The tip of her horn glowed as she slowly approached Nightmare Moon, kept her eyes locked on her counterpart. Nightmare Moon slowly rose, keeping her head down. Her mane hung straight down, covering her face and neck. I just want them to love me, to admire me like Celestia. She closed her eyes and body shook. It's not fair, not fair. She got all the love, all the attention. I want that too. It's not right! Her head shot up and she locked eyes with Luna. You know what I'm talking about, too! Don't try to deny it either. You're me. You were there! Luna nodded. I know your feelings, Nightmare Moon. They are mine. Yes, or rather, they were. She placed the hoof on her barrel and stared out to the side. The floor faded, leaving them hanging in the ether once more. Jealousy and hatred blinded you. The ponies hid during the night because of the dangers just outside their homes, not because they feared you. Nightmare Moon scoffed and shook her head. I thought those dangers. We fought those dangers. We did our best for them, but it meant nothing! So they deserve to face the death? Luna retorted, her gaze sharpening. Their worst sin was, what, neglecting us? Hardly one that calls for their slow, torturous demise. Nightmare Moon bared her face and snarled, Will you stop that? I will not kill them! Luna nodded to her. You're right. You won't kill them. The cold will do that instead. They will suffer lingering, slow deaths because ponies 1,000 or so years ago stayed inside during the night. That seems quite fair to me. Does it seem fair to you? Nightmare Moon opened her mouth but closed it. She slowly shook her head. I won't kill them, she repeated. Eyes narrowed and flashed white. She raised her horn and fired a beam at magic at Luna. Stop saying that! The beam enveloped Luna, and she suddenly turned to ice. It shattered and blew off in a sudden gust of wind. The ice shards flew about, before spiraling about, compacting together in Luna again. I say it because it's the truth. A truth you need to hear and understand. And please, don't try that again. We both know physical attacks are meaningless here. Nightmare Moon stopped on the ether. I will not be talked to like a fool! Now stop acting like a fool and listen to me! Luna said, and added to her voice. What I am telling you is the truth, whether you wish to believe it or not. Eternal night will destroy this land and leave it full of corpses. We've seen how much suffering has happened with the sun mostly taken away. Things would be worse with its total absence. So stop plugging your ears and listen! Nightmare Moon growled. Fine, fine, I will bring back the sun. Then all here will flock to my sister once more. I will gain nothing! Luna shook her head. No. You'll gain perspective, as well as the maturity to put others before your own desires. You'll save countless lives, nay, the planet. You'll prove that you can see beyond your own muscle. She paused for a moment. Please, so that you can look beyond your own ego, to those you swore to protect. I know how you feel. How you feel now. I've been there as much as you. Nightmare Moon closed her eyes, and half responded. The only thing we can do right now is hope for the best. Nightmare Moon's eyes suddenly snapped open, sending Twilight scaring back on the floor. She waited for Luna to open her eyes before bowing her head. Very well. She went to Twilight, who was sitting on her haunches. What are you doing on the floor? Twilight scrambled her host. Well, I was just expecting whatever it was you were talking about would have taken longer. She went to Luna. So, what did you talk about? Luna pointed a hoof at Nightmare Moon. Please ask her. Both Twilight and Mare turned to Nightmare Moon, who shifted ever so slightly under their expectant eyes. The time for talking is past, she said, stopping a hoof on the floor and sending her eyes hopping into the air by nearly a foot. I know what must be done. The Tyrant Filly must be stopped, and the sun must rise once more over Equestria.